mortgages and shit on any property in America.
Right.
But that's what they will tender into evidence in court, as if this means something. It don't mean anything. Objection, Your Honor, hearsay. We need someone who can come in and testify to the veracity and validity of the contents of the documents the counsel is attempting to proffer in evidence. They have to have a witness.
How the hell? My question to you is, how the hell are they able to do this without the bank actually coming to court and actually no affidavit in the record?
Number one, most people don't know how to challenge it. You got to know how to object because that's hearsay. Because the attorney doesn't have firsthand knowledge of anything.
Right.
He wasn't at the closing table when them documents got signed. He wasn't there when you bought the property. He don't have firsthand knowledge of anything. He's just an agent of the bank, and the bank is not even there. Now, the reason why is because of that case that happened in Minneapolis. The
Credit River decision.
Credit River decision. That was the last time a banker came into the courtroom.
Right.
Everybody on here, if you have a foreclosure, you need to read the Credit River decision. You need to acquaint yourself with that case and understand that, because that's why you don't see the bank in the courtroom anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You should really study. And the dude who brought that, who was getting foreclosed on, was an attorney. That was an attorney. The Credit River decision, the defendant was an attorney whose house was trying to get taken. He the one challenged all that. And now today they want to run around talking about vapor money theory.
Right.
That was an attorney.
And I believe he even used the affidavit of Walker Todd.
Yeah, it's not Ghana versus HSBC, it's E-Ghana, EGANA versus HSBC Bank. That's a very good case if you got a foreclosure, and that's the principle. It doesn't matter if it's a Georgia case. The judge is giving you a principle of law. You have to put in an affidavit if you're going a forgery. And basically saying, to the best of my knowledge and belief, these documents they put in it, these copies of documents are forgeries. And I need to see the originals. You have to do that to force them to bring the original.
And if they don't have the original, then
you move for quiet title and you move to dismiss the case or whatever it is that they're doing.
Right.
Until they can bring it. You got to move to court. A lot of the problem stems from the fact, and check this out, I'm going to tell y'all something else. Y'all don't know rules of civil procedure, number one. That's a big thing, because that's what the attorneys go to law school for 3 years to learn. That's number one. And number two, you can't find an attorney that will help you on a foreclosure. Because I was there when they got the word. It started with that robo signing. I want y'all to Google robo signatures on mortgages. That was very big in around 2000, from 2010 to 2012. Also, under the Obama administration, when they did the bailout, everybody, ask yourself this, since y'all want to talk shit. If they bailed out all the mortgages, why y'all still paying mortgages?
That shit don't make sense.
I asked an attorney that, he got off the call with me. I said, if the government bailed them out, then why are the American people still paying mortgages? Click. That's how dumb the American people are. They bailed out the banks, meaning they paid all these toxic loans, and y'all still paying mortgages. And ain't saying shit. Y'all want to talk about gender and shit like that.
Right.
I'm going to my state representative. Hey, look, man, y'all just bailed out the banks. We need to talk about why we still paying these mortgages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because most of the time, too, when you tender them a negotiable instrument, they have possession of your instrument, and you the holder in due course.
There's no money. That Federal Reserve note is no different than the promissory note you make. They are a private bank. They're issuing promissory notes. You're a private banker. You can issue anything they can do, you can do too.
Right.
And there's nothing backing their money. They remove the gold. That's what HJR 182 is. Rescission of the gold clause. So they are issuing paper money backed by nothing.
I had a court send me a letter. They said they can't accept a bill of exchange, an international bill of exchange.
And you write them back and said, I'm sure you're aware that you're bankrupt, and I'm sure you're also aware that it is a violation of public policy for you to require anyone to satisfy an obligation with a particular species of currency. Are you aware of that fact? You write them back. They testing you to see what you know.
Right.
You write them back and let them know. That letter you can use as a framework. Gene Keating's document is called Securitization 101.
Got it. I got that.
And that letter, now you don't copy it verbatim, but you can pull portions out of there, modify the language, and then, you can attack them because he have a lot of good information in that letter to let them know that, look, you can't tell me that you can't accept this. You're required to accept it.
Right.
UCC 3-603, no, that's not 603, UCC 3-311, accord and satisfaction by use of an instrument. I think it's UCC, I think it might be UCC 3-611. Somebody look it up for me. Put in Google accord and satisfaction by use of an instrument, UCC, and see what pop up. Accord and satisfaction by use of an instrument. That's your instructions right there.
Yeah, 3-311.
Yeah, 3-311. Okay. Now, 3-311, when you read that, that's telling you how they can recontract with you. So that is what you got to understand. A lot of the reasons we having failures is the nuances of all this we don't understand. The enforcement positions is very difficult to get to. Like I got a couple of houses right now. I've had them almost 18 years. I'm just keeping them. I'm gonna sell them after because once you pay the taxes on them for so long, you own them. Mm-hmm. I got title, so you just go for quiet title and then just sell them. So there are ways. I guess what I'm trying to say, this is not easy, brother, by any means. It's not for everybody.
Right.
It's very, very. All this shit is difficult to do. Going into court, learning all this shit, learning how to talk in court, trying to enforce it. It take a lot of time and effort to do a lot of this stuff, and they know it. They know it, and that's why I try to suggest to people. People try to do this and try to enrich themselves with it, and I'm saying, look, you can do that if you want, but you in for a long ride. It's best to use these processes when you need to.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's what I try to tell people to do. But people do whatever they want. I'm just suggesting. It's just suggesting. But hey, man, court system is corrupt. That's why you don't see me. I'm not in that space no more. I ain't talking about foreclosures and all that. I did that. I was into that shit deep. I was into it deep. And I'm just saying, I just saw that. I'm like, man, these people too corrupt. How can you go be somebody that don't follow the rules?
Right. That's the thing. That's the thing that kept coming up in my mind. I'm like, okay, I know all of these rules to the game. I know the instructions to the board game, but are they going to follow the rules? And in my mind, I'm saying, yeah, they have to follow the rules. That's the only way to do it.
You got to figure out how to do things with them. Where listen, I'm gonna say this to you, and I want you to try to read into what I'm saying. Okay, when I was in jail. I was a jailhouse lawyer, all right? And I got to be very, very popular. And so they had put me down in Miami in that maximum security holding facility in Miami. It's right across the street from the Miami Federal Building. And in case anybody doesn't know, the Miami Federal Building is shaped like a ship. Y'all get on internet right now, put in Miami Federal Building shaped like a ship, then go to Google Images and look at the picture of the Miami Federal Building. All right? So the reason I'm bringing this up is because as a jailhouse lawyer, one of the first things that I got confronted with was cats coming in. And like, I remember I had some cats. This one cat came into my cell. He said, say, man, he said, I'm looking at 30 years. He said, I got a wife and 5 kids. And I'm looking at 30 years. He said, me and my boy got a body buried. I want to know if I give him up, how much time they're gonna give off for this. So I have to sit there with a straight face and tell him, well, the first thing is you need to get some protection. You need to get some immunity. Make sure that you get some immunity from, the prosecutor before you give them this information, and you're gonna give something before you get it. And I just kind of counseled him on it. And now when he left the sale, that conversation never left my sale.
Right.
All right. So my thing is, you're gonna have more success when you learn how to do things off the books and keep your mouth shut.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's why it's called private.
Mm-hmm.
I don't tell y'all everything I do. I don't tell y'all everything I do.
It's funny. It's funny you say that, because before this even started, the bank was trying to call me. They kept trying to call me and email me. They kept calling me and emailing me, but I was in like a situation like, why won't they respond to any of the paperwork? They won't respond to the administrative process.
Pick up the phone, because you don't really want to talk to them on the phone about anything, because the reason they want to talk on the phone, because the conversation is not memorialized. So, that's one of the 10 maxims of commercial law. For a matter to be resolved, it must be expressed. That means it has to be put in writing.
Right.
So, you need to put it in writing, and they don't like to put stuff in writing. But it don't hurt to talk to them or anything to see if they can reach some sort of, say, look, I'm solution oriented. If we can come to some sort of amicable solution without going to shit that can benefit all parties, I'm open to that. How can I satisfy you, and how can you satisfy me? Ask them that question. I always look for a win-win. If you go into win-lose thought processes, you're going to lose most of the time. You have to approach it as a win. That's why I tell people to read Dealing with Presentments and Creditors and Their Bonds. And that's what they're telling you in there. Stop looking for win-lose situations. Only look for win-win situations. Even in Matthew 5:25, it tells you that. Agree with your adversary while you're on the way to court. Least he hand you over to the judge hand you over to the bailiff, and the bailiff cash you into prison. I tell you, when I come out to you, pay the very last penny. I was just telling you, you're trying to look for an agreement of the parties. The court is a place for disputes are resolved because you couldn't reach an agreement. So administrative process is you attempting to reach resolution without going to some sort of judicial process. And the UCC really is a self-help process.
Right.
I'll throw you this. It's called non-judicial strict foreclosure.
Mm-hmm. Write that down.
Non-judicial strict foreclosure. Come back with me on the next live and tell me what you find out. Let me let somebody else in.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Tea time. How you doing? I'm gonna try to go boy, girl. Let's go.
Good to see you. I actually got an awesome email from you today, or a DM from you today on here, and I was like, oh, if only you were the real Yusef, I'd be really excited right now. But I know I get them from you all the time, so it's not the real one. But I started listening to you way back when you first started, and oh my God, I've learned so much since then, and I'm just so grateful for what you're doing for everybody. So appreciative, and keep doing your thing. You're a legend. We all love you. We all appreciate it so much.
I appreciate you. Hey, I wouldn't be nothing without you. So I appreciate. I try not to let y'all down. That's why I'm trying to study and and do the things. I was in a place I wasn't too comfortable in, and that kind of was affecting my my lives and everything like that. But I'm in a spot right now. I'm very, very comfortable, and I got my life back the way I want it. So, y'all should be seeing a lot of great content
right now.
Very soon.
Oh, I'm excited. You got the good energy back.
Yeah. Yeah. What you got for me? What you got?
You gotta go where the energy flows, right?
That's right.
That's it. Just wanted to say I appreciate you. And I saw somebody saying something about public law in there. I forgot which one it was, about eviction. Because if there's no money, that means eviction is not legal, right?
Well, listen, let me say this. There's no money. Let me put it like this. What an attorney said. He said there's no such thing as debt. There's only the presumption of debt. So they operate on presumption. You signed a contract Okay, so that contract requires you to have some sort of performance on it. And that's where the HJR 192 comes in, because under that, you cannot require somebody to offer performance in any particular way, because there ain't any money. There's no money. There isn't any money. Everything is promissory notes and things like that. So the fallacy or the illegality stems from the fact that they're requiring performance from you in a specific manner. Now, let me just say this. When you start talking about renting a place, that's a private transaction. You can only discharge public debt. A rent is not a debt. It's a you can't tell.
What if it's a property management company?
Well, the property management company is usually working for a.
What if it's a property management company and they breach the lease first?
Well,
right. What if they breach the lease first?
That's a breach of contract, and you need to go into court and you need to, file some sort of action claiming that. You need to put it or a counterclaim. That there's anytime if they try
I have it on appeal.
Then you need to do a counterclaim. Let me tell you, you always have to put in a counterclaim. If you've been foreclosed on, you counterclaim or a cross claim in some jurisdictions. I think on the federal level, but you put in a counterclaim, and they have to address your counterclaim first. Man, it's a long time since I've done all this stuff. A lot of stuff is coming back.
But we appealed it. I have it on appeal right now because I won the first case.
The appeals court is only reviewing for procedural defects unless they do what is called a de novo review. And that means they re-examine the merits of the case from the very beginning, which they don't do that a lot.
Yes, yeah.
All right.
No, I know.
But that's why you gotta know.
It's on appeal right now.
You gotta make sure you make a good record and you form good objections if you're going to appeal something.
Okay, and I filed the list pendants.
For everybody, the best document you can read to learn how to object in court is called Court Tricks and Traps by Valiant Liberty again. That's a badass book. Now, you could go to the law library and look this up. The case law on forming objections would be good too. But you need to know what an objection is and what an exception is. Because the reason why is because judges like to try to trick pro se litigants. So if I say, objection, Your Honor, hearsay, and the judge come back, what are you objecting to, Mr. Jones? All Mr. Ditwit is saying is that he's just tendering that in evidence, whatever. Okay, that's called that is called an equivocal ruling. He did not rule on your objection. Anytime you say objection, you got to hear sustained or overruled. If it's sustained or overruled is not in the record and it goes to the appellate court, the judges are going to assume that your silence means you acquiesced and that the trial court didn't do anything incorrectly. So if you say objection and you don't hear sustained or overruled, you always have to come back and say, I take exception to the honorable judge's refusal to rule on my objection. Would you please enter sustained or overruled into the record so I can preserve the error? Because you are allowing hearsay evidence into the record over my objection. So I'm going to take it to the appellate court and have them look at it.
Wow, that's such a great point. A lot of people overlook that.
That's a very big point. They get a lot of people on that. A lot.
Right, because you're just in the moment and you're stressed out and you're just, trying to just go with the flow and how they're guiding you, and you often let them get you off track.
And that's what the distractions are for, interrupting you and all of that is to take you off your square. And you gotta be firm-minded and, laser focused on what it is they're trying to accomplish. You also got to understand you're there to make a record. You're not there really to talk to the judge. You're there to make a record. And so I'm here to make a record. For the record, Jonna, I'm here to make a record. And then I would like, anytime you go into court, the first thing out of your mouth should be, Jonna, are we on the record? Will I be provided a stenographic transcript of these proceedings for my personal review?
Yes, I always bring my own court reporter.
I got to.
Yep, exactly. That's such a huge point that a lot of people overlook. And honestly, just going through it and going through the custody courts for the last 10 years or whatever, I wouldn't have learned nearly half of what I learned if it wasn't for going through these hearings myself. Things you can't pick up in a book, really, that, most people don't know that the person that wins, they get to write the orders. And a lot of the time, these judges have so many cases, they're just stamping them through, and they're not going through and reading, is that actually what the judge said? And man, he got me so many times with that. Like, it's unbelievable where the transcript says something entirely different than the order, and the order's what stands, unfortunately. But I would have never learned those things.
The higher you go, the more constitutional it becomes.
Yes, that is true. Because yes, they're more likely to follow the actual, way the law is supposed to work.
Exactly.
Definitely, and yep. And I've actually learned the power of the word no, because the last, I'd say 5 rulings that I didn't like, I basically just said I don't consent, no. And I cannot believe, I'm still shocked kind of about it, how well that worked. I mean, I really can't believe it.
They contract courts. It's agreements.
Yeah.
Everything is about agreements. Hold on for a second. Can I file a civil suit against the judge's state and guardian ad litem? Listen, whenever you sue a judge, you're suing the state. That's case law. I can pull out the case. The judge is an administrator. He works for the state. He's following orders. Let me tell y'all something. If you get a state court bench book for your state, okay, this is for all the foreclosure people. This is the best book you can get if you're facing a foreclosure or any type of rent, any type of dispossessory, getting kicked out. The best book you can get for that is called the State Court Bench Book. In there, it has all the answers, how you should answer in a dispossessory, that's where I got all my information from, the Georgia State Court Bench Book. And you'll see that the judges are really administrators and that everything you hear them say in court is already pre-written. They tell them what to say.
Yep. Facts.
Y'all gotta learn this stuff. It's called the State Court Bench Book. That was the best book that helped me fight foreclosures. I'll say that and Court Tricks and Traps by Valiant Liberty. Those 2 things took my presence in court up a couple of levels. It helped me tremendously. But the State Court Bench Book, because in the State Court Bench Book, it tells you how to answer. And so then you go get a Matthew Benders or something like that, forms and pleadings, and then you learn how to start drafting your own documents. But, you can start, if you learn how to navigate the law library, you can make some money and you can get some things done, if you just follow some of the correct procedures and just stop listening to these guys on the internet. That's one of the things I'm talking about. When people just passing around information, stay out of that. You want to contribute. Everybody needs to be researching because we all need to be contributing into the pot. Because I'm just one man. I can't study all this shit by myself.
Yes. Yes, I mean, all these different groups all the time. Yep.
Okay, go ahead, T. Go ahead.
I got a quick question. Sorry to interrupt. My question is, so on a foreclosure or a quiet title, you need a court reporter in there as well?
Always. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Listen. When you don't have a court reporter, they gonna treat you like shit.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the biggest sign to them that you don't know what you're doing. Because it's like, well, how you gonna appeal something? You ain't got a court reporter. The appellate court go off the transcript.
You have to get the transcript.
So they can say anything. Shut up, nigga. Sit down. Be quiet. Start talking you crazy. And I was like, damn. I mean, one time I went into a courtroom. It was on a foreclosure, and the judge already knew me in that county. They knew who I was. So when I walked into the court. I ain't said nothing. The judge said, Mr. Jones, we don't even need to go through this. I already made my decision. I said, whoa, let's get a court reporter in here. That case went on for about 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
I said, no, you ain't made no goddamn decision. Let me hear you say that on the record. And then I made her mad, and she said, take this off the record. You'll see them do this. Don't strike that from. Don't turn off the tape. They'll do that shit.
Oh yeah. And that's the hard way.
When you get into this and you start understanding the importance of that record, because the record can make it all the way to the Supreme Court.
Yep.
And do you think a judge wants to say something on the record that a Supreme Court justice is reviewing? and like, what the hell is going on down there? Y'all got to think about this. I'm trying to tell you. And also understand this. All the agencies are not homogeneous. They don't all work together. Some of them don't like each other. It's good to find the ones that don't like each other. And pit
I
them.
actually just found that out. Yes, I just found that out. They do
don't
not
like
like
each
each other. And when they know somebody's reviewing their stuff, they act entirely different than before. And when you're sending them emails about things, it's just flat out saying what it is. They do not like that.
And let me tell you something. With the Trump administration in, you need to be more than anything.
Yes.
Because everybody nervous. Trump got everybody nervous. Did you see how all the wars Israel gave back prisoners, Palestinians gave back? I'm looking around the world. Everybody, hey, we willing to do business with the United States. You gonna take these people back, and Colombia said we're not taking back our people. An hour later, they changed their mind. Trump don't be bullshitting. I'm trying to tell you, he don't be bullshitting, man. They know this motherfucker don't play. He will come in and kill your ass. Like, bitch, what? What you say? It's like, he a real one. I'm trying to tell y'all, he's a real one. Y'all pay right now. Y'all gotta learn, be looking how to use these agencies and everything, because I think we're going to be going into an age where we're gonna see a little bit more justice. At least right now, because everybody's kind of nervous because they see they cleaning house. And that's why we were having such a problem. We have so many corrupt officials in office. And I could go into the identity of those people, but I'm going to reserve that for right now because TikTok be tripping. So I might do that on Instagram. Y'all follow me on Instagram.
Yep. Well, I'm hoping. It's looking good, I hope. Well, thank you so much. I'll let somebody get up here. I appreciate all your help. You have no idea how far it's taken me.
Hey, look, y'all.
Take care.
Good. I'm going to have to get off now, y'all. But I will be back on later. I got a couple of things I got to do. But I appreciate everyone, your support. Like, double tap on the screen like this. Follow me on YouTube. It's High Frequency Radio. Yusuf Ale, just put it in the search bar in YouTube. I'll pop up. And on Instagram. My Instagram and my TikTok is the same handle. Yusuf_Ale_19. Y'all can follow me on Instagram. I usually put stuff in different places. I spend a lot of time in my Facebook group, so you can join that. Make sure you answer all the questions and agree to follow the rules, and you will get in. If you don't agree to follow the rules, you will not get in. All right? And with that being said, peace to the gods, and I'll see y'all on the next live. Peace. I'm out. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.